Y'all, it's your girl Arisza, and I'm back with a different video today. Today we're going to be talking about case studies, some important topics that appear on the LCSW and the LMSW exam that people are getting caught up in stress and just not prepared for. So of course, who am I to not provide that? I would not be who I am, you know what I mean? So I gotta definitely provide you with the sauce to make sure you understand, so you're not tricked up regardless of what's showing you or what's being presented to you on the exam, and you feel like, hey, I knew that because LCSWVIBES said that I needed to study this material, so I did. So I'm gonna give you some headway into some of this information that is showing up because of the state of the world and where we are and what's going on. So I'm gonna do this video today on a case study. It's gonna be talking about some immigration and some other different hot topics that are taking place right now. So stay tuned. I have two case studies. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna read through them. I'm gonna let you write on your little notepad or dry erase board the answers and what you think it is. And then after you tap in and write your answers, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just write that down and then write the answers down. We're gonna jump into the answers at the end because I want you to really listen and hone in. So I want you to pause the video, stop the video, do whatever you need to do, or just listen to me read it and close your eyes so you can really feel like you know what's going on, and then we're going to go on from there. Now, if you like this video and you feel like, look, I need more of that, I need more of that energy, more of the questions, more support, and you want to tell me what kind of questions and what kind of things you need, tap into the community. Yes, join the community, guys. It is where it's at. I'm helping people pass left and right. Can you believe last week we had about 10 to 15 pass within that week, and that is hella good for a small community. So when you see these big people talking about, oh, I had 100 people pass or 200 people pass, you got like 15,000 people in your program. So for us, the new kids on the block, we rocking and rolling. I'm showing people that, look, you can be in your 50s, you can be in your 60s. I don't care how old you are going to pass this test. You could be a mother of 6 or a mother of 10, and I'm helping you pass. I've had some amazing stories. I've had people in my communities with whole squads of football team for kids, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they have went in there, leveled up, and passed the exam. So there are no excuses, guys. You give it everything you got, and if you got your girl and some of my coaches rocking with you, it's no reason you can't pass and do what you need to do. So join the community. 2026, guys, I'm thinking about doing something really different for the community. It might not be a free community. It might be paid a slow, minimal cost, because my coaches need to be able to have some time and flexibility to provide you with the things that you need to succeed, as well as myself. I spend hours and hours on day just trying to find ways to help you pass and just get more social workers out there so they can stop wasting their money, taking the test, and not passing. So when you guys hit me in the comment section, you're like, oh my God, that course is too expensive, or oh, I can't afford it. Just remember this. You cannot afford to keep taking the test. You cannot afford to not pass this test. When you pass this exam, your pay, your income, your raise, your opportunity is going to increase. So you are going to get your return on your investment 10, 15, 20, 30, 100 times fold. Me investing in my LCSW has been the best professional decision that I have made in my life, because I would not be where I am today. 2, 3 businesses down the line, helping other people scale and grow their practices, have 2 YouTube channels, 2 different private practices, just a lot of different things I have going on. But it is that license that has opened up the door and provided opportunity for me to do so. So if you're ready to tap in and you're tired of just sitting around missing this test by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20, 15 points, this is what you need. You need a community that cares, a community that's going to invest in you, and a community that's going to help you level up and pass the exam. All right. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so I can help you guys. For those that like to keep count, yes, that little talky thing or whatever that I did just now was about 3 minutes and 55 seconds. So now you can and start right here, and this is where I'm gonna start giving you the flavor. All right, as you can see, you're gonna do a case study with me, but you know what? I decided to do 2, so you're gonna do 2 case studies with me. So I'm gonna speak a little bit calmer and slower so you can hear it, but I'm gonna go through the answer key, because you could always rewind and go back, so that way you have a true understanding of what the material is and what you went over. All right, guys, real quick, I'm always talking about the community, the LCSW vibes. We leveling up, and this is the sneak peek of the community. As you can see, it's on and popping. We got a lot happening. I got ethics over here, human development, or study guides that you guys asked me about on the YouTube channels, all right there. Test questions. You just want to level up and learn and see if you can answer those questions. I'm testing your knowledge. Let me go back to the home screen. If you want to learn more about what services I offer and what other things are there, that is where you go to the learning tabs. We leveling up, so why don't you join so you can level up too? So the first case, you are the social worker. So Maria is the social worker. If you're Mark, Maria, Hernandez, whatever you want your name to be, that's fine. But you are the social worker in this case study. That's all I need you to remember. So you're supervising this less experienced social worker, Alex, who's providing therapy to a 14-year-old unoccupied minor, Marco, who recently immigrated from Central America. Marco reports to Alex that he's been receiving threatening messages from a family acquaintance who facilitated his border crossing and is now demanding payment. Marco states that the acquaintance threatened to call the authorities and make trouble for his undocumented aunt, with whom he now lives, if Marco does not comply. So we got a lot of stuff happening up in this first paragraph. We got Marco, only 14 years old, living with his aunt who's undocumented. He got the people who helped him get over the border and come to the States, threatening to report his aunt and do all these things. So as a result, paragraph 2, Marco is clearly distressed and expresses passive suicidal ideation, stating it would be easier if I just disappeared. During supervision, Alex is torn between the legal duty to report the threats, the extortion, the potential trafficking, and Marco's safety in the cultural context of fear and distrust of authorities due to his and his aunt's immigration status. So you got Marco and his aunt, they over here undocumented, they trying to live their life, and then you got the people who helped them come over here knowing they was undocumented, threatening to report them, which can cause them to be deported and all the other stuff. So you can see where the stresses are coming for young Marco. So let's go ahead and see what these questions say so you can figure out how you can assist probably Alex, who you're working with, because remember, you Maria, you the social worker. All right, so go ahead, pause the video, read over the case scenario yourself so you can have a true understanding, because once I flip the screen and switch, you won't see the scenario anymore. So make sure you have a true understanding of it. All right, first question. Marco is a 14-year-old unoccupied minor. Now, he expresses passive suicide ideation and fear related to extortion threats against his undocumented aunt. Unaccompanied minor. I knew it was something I kept saying. Unoccupied. It's an unaccompanied minor. Basically, he is here unaccompanied because he's living with his aunt, so he's not here with his parents and so forth, all right? So he expresses passive suicide ideation and fear related to extortion threats against his undocumented aunt, who's the only person that he has right now, and I'm sure they can care for him. So the social worker, which is you, is concerned about the mandatory reporting implications and the risk of deportation. Is either you or is either the supervisee, because Maria is the social worker that oversees Alex's work. So either way, you're one of those social workers, so keep that in mind. So the first action Alex should take is what? A, immediately contact CPS to report potential exploitation and threats against the minor. B, initiate a detailed safety assessment focusing on Marco's intent, plan, and access to means and any protective factors. Or C, consult with an attorney or the agency's legal counsel regarding the interplay between mandated reporting laws and immigration and confidentiality. And D, contact Marco's aunt to inform her of the threats and assess her ability to ensure Marco's safety and emotional support. So go ahead, guys, pause for a moment, think about that. Tell me what you're thinking. All right, question number 2. Now, during supervision, Alex reports the entire scenario to his supervising social worker, Maria. Alex expresses significant anxiety, stating, if I report the exploitation to the police or CPS, Marco and his aunt could be deported, which would be an ethical violation. But if I don't report, I'm violating mandated reporting laws and possibly endangering Marco. This is being caught between a rock and a hard place. All right. The best guidance Maria should offer Alex after ensuring Marco's immediate safety plan is established is what? A, document a safety waiver, place the plan waiver, noting the potential for deportation harm outweighs the immediate need for external reporting, prioritizing that therapeutic relationship. Or B, instruct Alex to consult with an immigration specialist or a social worker who understands the nuances of U visas or T visas for victims of certain crimes. C, advise Alex that the duty to report suspected abuse or neglect of a minor supersedes confidentiality and mandated reporting must occur immediately. Or D, explore Alex's countertransference regarding the perceived ethical dilemma, focusing on personal biases related to immigration and law enforcement. Let's move on to question number 3. After establishing a safety plan with Marco, the next step is to address the systemic stressors related to his immigration status and the fear of the acquaintance. Given the high degree of distrust of formal systems common in undocumented immigrant communities and the risk of the aunt's deportation, Marco and his aunt agreed to engage in community resources. All right. So what would be the most appropriate resource or action for Alex to pursue with Marco and his aunt? Would it be to refer Marco and his aunt to a local, culturally specific legal aid organization that specializes in immigrant rights and advocacy services? Would it be to schedule a joint session with the police liaison officer who's specifically trained in youth-related crimes and his relationship with the agency? Would it be C, to focus solely on the individual therapy with Marco to build his coping skills and reduce his passive suicide suicide ideation before engaging in external systems? Or D, contact the school social worker to initiate a meeting with Marco's teachers and inform them of the situation to increase surveillance for threats? What are you guys thinking? All right, guys, so I hope you had an opportunity to rock through these questions and you feel like you're good. So the answers is boom. B for number 1, C for number 2, and 3 for number 8. Yes, so number 1, safety before everything. The first step is always to assess. You got to do all that stuff, make sure the guy's good. Number 2 is C. So according to the NASW mandated reporter laws, the duty to report suspected abuse, neglect, or exploitation of minors supersedes confidentiality protections regardless of immigration status. So the supervisor, Maria, should help Alex understand that mandatory reporting is legal and ethical obligation that cannot be waived to immigration concerns. And then 3 is A, cultural competence. For marginalized, fearful populations, the most appropriate system intervention is to connect them with a trusted, culturally competent, and specialized community resource that can advocate on their behalf. So hopefully this case study was hella helpful and you understand it. All right, let's move on to the second one. Let's see if I got another one for you right here. Hey guys, I stopped by to tell you this. You do not have to win alone. Absolutely not. People in the community are winning each and every day. The proof is in the pudding. Go in the community. It's free. We're throwing down test questions, case studies, the FNBM method, all the details and everything you need so you can succeed. Click the link in the bio and join. You don't need to do this alone. See you soon. So social worker supervisee reports that their client, 32-year-old undocumented immigrant from Guatemala, discloses during their third session that he has been having thoughts of suicide since receiving a deportation notice 2 weeks ago. The client states he would rather die than return to his home country, where he fears gang violence. The supervisee developed rapport by occasionally speaking Spanish with the client and sharing that her own parents immigrated from Mexico. During the supervision, the supervisee expresses feeling overwhelmed and asks whether she should prioritize getting the client connected to an immigration attorney or focus on a suicide safety plan. She also mentions that the client asked for her personal phone number in case of an emergency, and she is unsure how to respond. All right, so we got all the information. Go ahead and read that case study again for yourself, and then we're going to go ahead and go through the answers. Well, the questions and then the answers. All right, let's move on to question number 1. As a clinical supervisor in this situation, what should be the first priority in guiding the supervisee's immediate intervention with the client? A, direct the supervisee to conduct a comprehensive suicide risk assessment and develop a safety plan before addressing legal concerns. B, instruct the supervisee to provide the client with referrals to immigration legal services and community advocacy programs or organizations. C, explore with the supervisee her cultural identification with the client and how this may be influencing clinical judgment. D, review agency policies on mandated reporting requirements for clients expressing suicide ideation. All right, go ahead and write down what you think it is, A, B, C, or D. All right, question number 2. Regarding the client's request for the supervisee's personal phone number, what is the most appropriate supervisory response that balances cultural competence and professional boundaries? A, explain that providing a personal contact information may be culturally normative, but could create dependency and role confusion. Explore alternatives such as a crisis hotline number. B, suggest that the supervisee provide her number temporarily, given the client's acute crisis and immigration status, then revisit boundaries once he is stabilized. C, recommend that the supervisee explain she cannot give out personal information due to agency policy without further discussion of the client's request. Or D, advise the supervisee to process her own feelings about the boundary request in personal therapy before responding to the client. Go ahead and give that some thought, guys. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're thinking. All right. Now, I want you guys to think about this a little bit more in context. So you see these situations that come up quite a bit. We have the professional boundaries, the cultural competence, all of this stuff just mixed up in there. And a lot of times people get confused by the nature of the questions. Either they know it and they're hella confident, or they're like, oh, I'm hella confused, because they can look like 2 answers should be correct. And this is a most question, so it's most appropriate, meaning there are several things that you can do out of these 4, but there's one that is more beneficial in the long run for the client. That is kind of how you want to tackle and look at a most style question. So think about that as you answer it. All right, question number 3. In developing a comprehensive intervention plan for this client, which action best integrates clinical, ethical, and community-based considerations specific to undocumented immigrants with suicide ideation? Now, the key here is this is the best style question. So when we're talking about best, we're talking about that. What's most clinical? What's most ethical? So that is what you want to think about when you're answering this question. Are you studying for the LCSW or LMSW exam? Don't waste time on the wrong prep. Try my test prep program for free with a full module that gives you the real strategies, the real practice, and real results. Plus, you get access to my exclusive test prep community where you'll find support, study material, and accountability. No risk, no stress, just results. Click the link in the bio so you can get ready to win with the winning team. Would it be A, to hospitalize the client involuntarily to ensure their safety, then coordinate with the hospital's social services to address immigration concerns upon discharge? B, conduct an ongoing suicide risk assessments while connecting the client with immigration legal aid, culturally specific community resources and supports, and trauma-informed mental health services that understand deportation-related stress? Or C, focus primarily on cognitive behavior interventions to reduce suicidal thinking before introducing any potentially overwhelming decisions or discussions about legal options? Or D, file a mandated report with Adult Protective Services due to the client's vulnerability as an undocumented person facing potential harm if deported. So we have a lot of different things going on here, guys, but I know y'all hella smart, so I know you got it. But just think about it for a little bit. Remember, when you answer these questions, I don't want you just to answer them. I want you to think about why this was the better choice based on the questions and the scenarios at hand. So just think about it that way, and then as a result, answer it. Because you can say A is the correct answer because of this, or A is the wrong answer because of this. So make sure you take your notes and write it down, because all of this is a learning process. You're likely to see similar questions on the exam. They'll just be worded a little differently. Sometimes they'll be a little bit easier, a little bit more challenging. But the bottom line is, you know the context. You know what to do when you're dealing with undocumented immigrants or people who are at risk of being deployed or deported. All these types of things you want to take in consideration and have a true understanding of it. All right. So here's the answer key. Number 1 is A, safety always takes precedence in clinical decision making. Number 2 is A, this response demonstrates cultural humility while maintaining professional boundaries. It is a key supervisory skill. So definitely keep that in mind. For those who need to go back, this is question number 2. You want to explain why providing that personal phone number wouldn't have been appropriate. All right. And then last but not least, question number 3 is B. Yes, this answer reflects the best practice for working with undocumented immigrants facing deportation. I love doing these videos, guys, because you can always pause and read the rationale. And that's what I tell people. The rationale is where it's at. It's not so much about whether you get a question right or whether you get a question wrong. It's whether you understand why you got it right and why you got it wrong. And if so, you need to really, really study the rationale. So if you're about 30 days out from taking your exam, you should be all content out. You should have the baseline, the foundation, all of that stuff. You should have your strategies, all of that stuff. Now you're asking questions and you're going over questions constantly to make sure you have a strategy that works. And then in the process of using your strategy, when you're missing a question, you can differentiate whether the strategy is working or whether you're kind of confused in using that system. Definitely want to practice before game day. If you need some support, don't hesitate. Reach out to us in the community. That is what we're here for, guys. We are helping social workers pass by getting one license at a time. And I'm telling you, our program and our course and our community is lit. If you don't know what lit is, we'll talk about that in another video. All right. Without further ado, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I appreciate your girl. Appreciates the love and the support that you guys have been showing me. As a result, we're giving you everything we got. Talk to you soon.